Hey, good evening. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another Carolina Panthers talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody's been doing well, having a good start to the week so far. Wanted to come on here tonight just to chat for a little bit and kind of go over some more coaching talk. A few more interviews have been done. According to the Carolina Panthers coaching search tracker, some more names have been updated on that list, and really just kind of go over to see what we have, and talk about what we're feeling, like what we're leaning towards so far, and of course talk about the offseason as more updates come through. Talk a little bit about what's going on with the playoffs and just, a little bit of draft talk, and really just taking a look at what really has to be done in its entirety in the offseason. So definitely want to get into that and just give folks an opportunity to give their feedback as well, see what's on everybody's minds. At the same time, just kind of get a feel of what everybody's looking forward to, with this off season, the draft, free agency, stuff like that. Okay, before we get started, just wanted to give a shout out and also share that I am also an affiliate for Game Beauty, which is a really cool line of cosmetics, makeup kits that are video game themed. Whole bunch of different designs. Be sure to check out the link in the description, the Game Beauty link that I have posted in the description box. And you're interested in what you see and would like to make a purchase of any of the available products, be sure to use the promo code BlitzballChamp, all caps, and you can get 10% off of your order with the promo code. So definitely put that to good use. Anyway, now that I got that out of the way, so a couple of things I wanted to point out. First up, I want to recognize some folks. So shout outs to defensive end Brian Burns, as well as punter Johnny Hecker, who were both selected to the Professional Football Writers of America 2022 All-NFC team for their performances. I mean, Johnny Hecker has been excellent on special teams for us. Brian Burns, once again, ended up leading in sacks and is on his way to another Pro Bowl, 2 Pro Bowls back-to-back. So congratulations to the both of them. Brian Burns, in his 4th season, of course, in his rookie year, or his rookie contract, 63 total tackles, 12 and a half sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 22 hits on the quarterback in 16 games. Of course, he did not play the last game of the season, but finished with all career highs. Finished 8th this year in the league in tackles for loss and 9th in sacks. And this was actually his first time getting double-digit sacks in his career. So definitely, it may not seem like he's had a big, ginormous number type of year, but, I mean, double-digit sacks, a second straight Pro Bowl, I mean, you can't really look down on that. I'm just saying, can't really look down on that. Johnny Hecker, 39 points and 39 punts inside the 20-yard line this season, who ended up surpassing Todd Sauerbrunn, who had 35 punts inside the 20 in 2001. And then he had a 48.1% of his punts inside the 20 which is second in the league. So good showing there from Johnny Hekker. Big key on special teams. There was also a defensive back that was added to the roster last week. Apparently, a safety by the name of Miles Dorn. It's not a name I'm familiar with, but let's look him up. But Miles Dorn, a North Carolina native, is from Charlotte, North Carolina, and actually went to UNC Chapel Hill for college. Was on the Minnesota Vikings from 2020 to 2022. And let's see, 24 years old. He played in 5 games for the Vikings this season and 9 last season. And apparently he's the son of NFL cornerback Torin Dorn. I don't think he's got any stats posted up. Let me see if he actually has some stats posted up. Okay, so just from 2021, the only stats they have on ESPN, played 9 games, 3 total tackles. Yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 total tackles. So a young guy, young lion added to the roster. So that's pretty much what that is. He's 6'1", 214 pounds. Okay, not bad. But like I said, I don't really know that much about him, so I just take it for what it is. Let's see. So there's an article on the Panthers.com site in regards to Bradley Bozeman, who had some really good things to say. Now, remember, Bradley Bozeman, as of now, is a free agent. Only signed for 1 year. But I really, really like what he had to say in this article. He says, and I quote, "This place is awesome. This offensive line room with Coach James Camping, you're not going to find a better coach. That group and how consistent it is, and knowing they're all going to be back next year, it definitely plays a part in it. To know you're going to have 2 really good guards next to you, 2 really good tackles that understand each other, we really hope we can keep it together." And to be honest, I really feel like Bradley Bozeman has emerged as a leader on that offensive line, especially being the center, one of the most important jobs of the offensive line. And I really feel like this is somebody they need to really zone in on keeping. If we can get them on a 2 or even 3-year extension, so be it. I think at least 2. I know we got Austin Corbett on a 3-year when we originally signed him. And I know he got injured last game of the season. So he had successful surgery and begun rehab. And the word is that he should be ready by the season start. I don't really know how much action he'll see in preseason or even in training camp, but hopefully can get him up to speed and ready to start the regular season. Austin Corbett did a really good job this year, played very well. Like I said, started every game, but got hurt in the last game. So, definitely was very consistent. So I'm hoping that he can get back to full strength ASAP. But we know we still have him. We know we still have Taylor Moton. We know we still have Brady Christensen. Brady Christensen's still on his rookie deal. Ikem Ekwonu, who overall, Ekwonu had a good year. Not bad at all for his rookie year. I felt like he did good. And I really believe that he will improve as well. There's a couple of things, he's got to fix, he's got to work on. I know he gave up a few sacks, kind of got beat a couple of times, but you know what? I believe that overall he had a good rookie year. I think he had a good rookie year, and I believe he will get better. Just have to continue to evolve and keep playing. I mean, he pretty much started every game this season. So if anything, Iquanu definitely got his feet wet to the max this year. I mean, started every game and really dove in facing the competition at left tackle. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So, got to give him kudos on that. But yes, I think it is very important that we re-sign Bradley Bozeman. He did a great job, especially coming in when he did when Pat Elflein went down. That really helped out a lot, being that he was able to come in when he went down and still keep things going on the offensive line. So I think I believe he is one of key free agents they should really consider bringing back. Absolutely. And then, when we look at the free agents, the list of free agents, let me go back and pull those up. And also, there was another player that was brought in. As a matter of fact, there was a handful. Let's actually go through some of these. So actually, looks like a couple of Mondays ago, they actually re-signed some players, bringing some players back. So they re-signed tight ends Stefan Sullivan and Giovanni Ricci. So signed them. Of course, Giovanni Ricci has pretty much been on, he's had a couple of catches this year. I think he had 8. He had 8 catches this year. And, he's also played on special teams and at fullback as well. So Giovanni Ricci, he's done a little something on the team. Stefan Sullivan, he showed some flashes. So we'll have to see if he can really grow from that. And then they also signed a couple of folks to the practice squad, future deal practice squad. So Aaron Mosby at linebacker, Raekwon Williams at defensive tackle, Kobe Jones at defensive end, wide receivers CJ Saunders and Derek Wright, running back Spencer Brown, and offensive lineman Deontay Brown. And it was also noted that Deontay Brown supposedly is expected to get some opportunities this offseason, being that Austin Corbett dealt with torn ACL. And apparently Brady Christensen got a broken ankle. I totally forgot about that. Brady Christensen got a broken ankle. So it's kind of a big blow there. But hopefully Deontay Brown, who I feel has some potential, but he's got to get the weight under control. I feel like that's really the main issue, is just getting the weight and maintaining a good weight. And I think if he can do that, if he can really do that, I think he can surprise some folks. I think he can surprise us, y'all. But I feel like the time may be running out on Deontay Brown. Time may be running out, but hopefully we'll see if he can get plugged in and hopefully in the offseason get the weight under control. Like as of now, right now he's 300, say he's 335 pounds. So we just got to keep working. Just got to keep working. There's also a Herb Miller that was signed to the practice squad. Herb Miller, who's a cornerback. Herb Miller, a cornerback. 25 years old. Played at Florida Atlantic. Was on the practice squad with the Chiefs. Also played with the Buccaneers and the Browns. And now he's with us. 10 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 1 interception, and a fumble recovery. So, a little small something. But he's added to the squad. So, a couple of moves have been made. And of course, they also have the schedule up for important dates to keep an eye out for. So the next upcoming one is February 4th. They got the Senior Bowl, which will be at Mobile, Alabama. So that'll be an opportunity for scouts to come by and scout some players, look at some prospects. February 13th, which is the day after the Super Bowl, which is the beginning of the NFL's waiver system. The Panthers are 9th in the waiver club order based on being 9th in the draft order, which fair enough. So that's a day after the Super Bowl. And then you have February 28th through March 6th is the annual NFL scouting combine. That'll be in Indianapolis, which will be a big deal because the Panthers coaching staff will be working with the scouting department, and of course this is under the assumption that we're going to have our head coach pretty much, I would think, before the end of this month. Hopefully by the end of this week, but we'll get into that. March 7th is the deadline for clubs to designate franchise or transition players. So, when it comes to adding the franchise tag or whatnot, which I can't imagine us really having to do that, but I'm not going to say it's impossible, but something to keep an eye out for. Okay, that was March 7th. March 13th through the 15th, for 3 days before free agency begins, clubs are permitted to contact and enter into contract negotiations with agents, with players who will become unrestricted free agents. So, got to keep that in mind. And then March 15th, specifically at 4 p.m., is the start of the 2023 league year, and all 2022 player contracts expire. And clubs can start signing new free agents and start making trades. Okay. NFL annual meeting is from March 26th to the 29th. April 3rd is for clubs that hired a new coach after the 2022 season can begin off-season workouts. Okay. April 17th, clubs with returning head coaches may begin off-season workouts. Okay. And then, of course, April 27th through the 29th is the NFL draft. So, a good handful of dates to keep up with. Kevin McFarland, welcome to the stream. Hello, Blitz. I'm expected a full-on Super Bowl team next year. We got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and got this guy named Joe Burrow. Think he is a decent quarterback, but don't know. Panthers' good days will come, hopefully, but it only comes with how hard and smart our team wants to build to get better. I have to say, Bengals defense looked really strong in that Bills game. They looked really strong. And, we're getting ourselves a rematch between the Chiefs and the Bengals. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting. Um, and then Eagles and Niners. Eagles and Niners, I think, can go either way. But I think we have to see how Brock Purdy does. Although, he didn't turn the ball over in the Dallas game, but he didn't necessarily put up big numbers either. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting how this offseason is. Bengals, Eagles, Super Bowl. Uh, you know what? I mean, all four teams look pretty strong. I mean, it's hard to say, Kevin. It's hard to say. I mean, one would think the Eagles, after obliterating the Giants, are a sure fit for the Super Bowl. But I mean, don't sleep on San Fran. Don't sleep on San Fran. They got an offense and a defense. So Mahomes is a little hurt. That is true. But Mahomes ain't the only weapon on that team. He's a key, but don't sleep on the Chiefs. But, and not to mention, it's a rematch. It's a rematch. Chiefs Bengals, that's a rematch. So should be really good. What's up, Joe Valesco? Welcome to the stream. Just the scoring was not high against the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys hung in there, but I think what really helped the Niners was, takeaways. Definitely takeaways helped them out a lot. The 49ers need to score more against a even better Eagles D. Well, I mean, don't sleep on 49ers defense. They got a defense too. I mean, it is definitely not something that Brock wants to get into a shootout with Jalen Hurts, but don't sleep on the Niners defense now. They play some defense. They can, they can do some damage. I meant the Cowboys last game. You meant the Cowboys last game? Yeah. I mean, 19-12. It was close, but Dak just, I don't know what it is. Playoffs Dak Prescott is just, he might get you a win, but Dak Prescott in the playoffs just, I mean, he's really not that different from Tony Romo in the playoffs. I mean, hate to say it, but he's really not that different from, he's really not that different from from Tony Romo. But it should be a really good matchup. Should be a really good matchup. The 49ers have never played a defense like the Eagles, to be fair. I mean, let's also keep in mind, San Francisco is the number 2 seed. It's the number 1 against the number 2. So, I mean, that might be the case, but it's not like they're so far off. I mean, it's the number 1 seed against the number 2 seed. I'm just saying. Not to mention, I mean, 2 takeaways. Yeah, 2 takeaways, 2 interceptions. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Eagles do have home field, so that's big. But I think it's really going to come down to see how Brock Purdy does and what kind of offense they run, as well as defense. I think more so for the Eagles really just got to stick to their game plan. I mean, even in the games that the Eagles have lost, I mean, they've still put up a lot of points with the exception of the Saints game, which they only put up 10 points. But I think realistically, the Eagles are in control of their own destiny. I feel like the Eagles have to like blatantly screw up in order for things to go haywire for them. You know, I mean, they finished the season 14-3. I mean, been in the number one spot the whole time. So realistically, it's on the Eagles to stay the Eagles. So, but we'll see what happens. Joe Valesco says, "I'm going to give you a trade. I want you. What do you think about Jackson? 9th pick, a 24. Wait. Are you saying trade for Lamar Jackson? Is that what you're saying, Joe Valesco? Or are you talking about trade Dante Jackson? You talking about Dante? So Dante Jackson, the 9th pick, a 24 for second rounder, 2025 second rounder for the number 3 pick. That's it? All that for the number 3 pick? No, not all that for the number 3 pick. No. I'm gonna have to disagree. All that for the number 3 pick? Nah. That's too much. That is way too much. Patriots Giants Super Bowl. The only thing that was cool about that was that it ended the undefeated streak of the Patriots. That was actually pretty cool. That was really cool. I was really happy about that. But nah, like, we can't be giving up a whole bunch of stuff for just one pick. Like I said, Joe Valesco, the last time we had a 9th pick in the first round, we ended up getting somebody of the caliber of Luke Kuechly. I mean, we're still picking in the top 10. I'm not saying that we can't trade up, but I really don't see why we still can't get something good out of the 9th pick. We're still picking in the top 10. Joel. Like, we got Luke Kuechly the last time we used the 9th pick. How do you feel about Frankie Louvu this year? He's an amazing player. Oh, absolutely. We need to keep him. Our pick went to 20. I actually don't understand what you're trying to say, but okay. Yeah. 20th pick. Oh, you were saying we got to the 20th pick. Oh, gotcha. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. No, I follow you. With how this season turned out. Well, there were some good flashes this season, but I mean, at the end of the day, the best I can really say is We got 2 wins better than the last 3 seasons. 2 wins better than the last 3 seasons. That's really all I can say. It's really all I can say. But looking at this free agency list, so just to review the free agents that we have, or the free agents. So Sam Darnold, Cameron Irving, Michael Jordan, Bradley Bozeman, Rashard Higgins, Andre Roberts, Deontay Foreman, Henry Anderson, Matt Ioannidis, Corey Littleton, Joe Igbinowe, TJ Carey, Sean Chandler, Justin Burris, JJ Jansen, Eddie Pinheiro. Okay, for restricted free agents, PJ Walker, Miles Hartsfield, Sam Franklin. Exclusive rights free agents, who just got re-signed, are tight ends Giovanni Ricci and Stephon Sullivan. So we can knock those off the list. To be honest, the only 2 that I say for sure we should bring back are Bradley Bozeman and Deontay Foreman. At least those 2. The others you can kind of fumble around with. But I think for sure you got to bring back Bradley Bozeman, Deontay Foreman. Eddie Pinheiro, Eddie Pinheiro, you have to think about, unless they do have Zane Gonzalez for another year. So, I guess take your pick. Kevin says, will we ever have that great quarterback that other teams have, like Joe Burrow? It's like we don't want to be a great team intentionally. I think we will get there because, we don't have a choice but to get there. Now, how long it'll take remains to be seen, but I do feel like we need to draft a quarterback. Joe Valesco says, what if the Panthers trade for Trey Lance? No, we need to evolve and develop a quarterback. We haven't done so since Cam Newton. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. Cam Newton got drafted in 2011. It's time to bring in a new, fresh quarterback and evolve them. Joe Valesco says he is young. I don't care. I don't care. He was with another team 2 seasons. We need to bring in a fresh face. We need to bring in a fresh face. We haven't done it since 2011. We need to start evolving. Whether it's Matt Corral or we get somebody, we need to start bringing up and evolving a quarterback. Besides, to trade for somebody that's unproven, why do that? Why do that when you can draft somebody? Kevin says, considering that we have never had a true franchise quarterback, one that stays longer than 12 years, but a real pocket passer. I heard Drew Brees is coming up from college. Well, here's the thing. Pocket passer would be nice, I guess. But at the end of the day, I just want a winner. I don't care if he's a pocket passer. I don't care if he's a dual threat. I don't care if he's a scrambling quarterback. I just want a winner. All this blueprint and stuff, it is what it is. I just want a winner. We made it to a Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme. We made it to a Super Bowl with Cam Newton, 2 totally different types of quarterbacks. So, we just need one that'll win. We just need one that'll win. Joe Valesco says, "Are you hearing these Tom Brady rumors? What Tom Brady rumors? The Bengals might trade Joe Burrow. I swear, shoot, they would be fools to do that, especially with him having a chance to visit the big dance again. I think it's because we are not a legacy team. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, one thing I think that stands out for our organization is we do not do well at keeping pieces that we need to keep. We should have never had that offensive line issue, period. We should have never had that offensive line issue for so long, especially after the type of line that we had in the Super Bowl run, or even before that. Like, that should have been a main priority continuing forward because it had worked so well for us, especially in the smash and dash era. You know? Kevin says players are always want to leave us and they do better on the Saints. Was always the running joke. That's an interesting joke. Very interesting. Joel says, supposedly if the Panthers hire Sean Payton, Tom Brady is coming to Carolina. If that's the case, I will not watch a Carolina Panthers game with Tom Brady behind center. I refuse to. I refuse to. After what he pulled off, I refuse to. No. I don't care how many championship rings he has. I don't care. I can understand why people say he's the GOAT, but he's a dirty GOAT, and even some of those titles were questionable. I'm telling you right now, if he is our quarterback, forget me watching a game. I don't care. He's a dirty GOAT. I don't care. You would watch one game. You want to bet? You want to bet? Shoot. You gotta remember, these get archived. These get archived. Not to mention, you do also understand that in having the interview with Sean Payton, we had to agree to compensation when it comes to what we would have to give up, which word is at least a first round or two draft picks. I'm sorry, but it is not worth it going all in with those type of sacrifices for only one piece of the puzzle. It makes no sense to me to do that. I'm sorry, but that is pure desperation on the wrong type of levels. Just to check. No, I've never been a Tom Brady fan. Come on now. Come on now. Please, bump Tom Brady. Talking about a dude that sacrificed his marriage just to keep playing a game that there's with no points to prove, period. He has no points to prove at all. Addicted to competition, not to mention it really set me off when he tried to do a sliding tackle. He legit intentionally did a sliding tackle. No, I have no respect. I don't care how great he is. Shoot, I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan. Jason Kidd won a title and has played with Dallas Maverick for years. But as a player, he's cool. But as a person, I mean, dealing with the whole domestic violence dispute that he had with, I believe it was his wife. Mm-mm. You know, I'm just saying. I can only go but so far. Can only go but so far. He's not my GOAT. That's for sure. He's not my GOAT. Folks can say what they want, but he's not my GOAT. And like I said, if he is our quarterback, I will be extremely disappointed and I will not watch a game. Period. I will not watch a game. Period. Y'all will have to find another channel because you won't be hearing jack from me. Kevin, I don't see why that's so hard to believe. With all the shenanigans and everything up to this point, and especially last season, I don't understand why that's so hard to believe. Joel says Cam Newton is my GOAT. That's your GOAT? Cam Newton's not really my GOAT either, but I mean, I respect his play. I respect his play. See, that's the thing, Kevin. Why would it be so cool to see? Like, really? It has to come down to getting Tom Brady? Really? Really? What is so cool about that? Like, in all honesty, what is really so cool about that? Because we never had a legend quarterback. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? I mean, is Russell Wilson a legendary quarterback? Like, why does that matter? I don't see why that matters. Why does that matter? Michael Jordan never played on my favorite team. We still won a championship. Like, why does it matter? I mean, there's a lot of players that are great. He ain't the only one. He ain't the only one. We gotta, as a fan base as a whole, we gotta stop being so desperate. We gotta stop being so desperate. Like, oh my God. Like, I find it funny how so many folks will talk so much smack, especially the times where Brady loses or when Carolina has beaten Brady. But yet, if there's even an ounce of an idea of folks of him coming to the team, oh yeah, sure, come on, yeah, like, oh yeah, sure, come on. Like, please. That's sad. That's sad. Oh my goodness. That would make me sick. That would make me sick. And the thing is, I don't even want Sean Payton. I don't even want Sean Payton, mainly because we have to sacrifice so much to get him. Sacrifice so much just for one piece. I mean, We almost did that for Deshaun Watson. Thank God it didn't happen. But do you know how badly that would have been if we went all in on Deshaun Watson and it was a success? Shoo. Do you like Sean Payton as a coach? I'm not going to deny he has a record. He has a good record, good head coaching record, and he has a championship. But I'm sorry, that whole Bounty Gate scandal rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I'm not saying that he hasn't learned from it or, would ever do that again. But I'm sorry, but that rubbed me the wrong way. As I'm sure it did for others. Wasn't cool. Wasn't cool. Especially when he had the chance to shut all that down and didn't. Plain and simple as that. Had the chance to shut it down, but he didn't. Tom Brady is coming to your house tomorrow. Just called him up. You know what I would do if he came over? I would open the door and be like, "Hi, bye." I would be nice. I would be respectful. I would be respectful, but that's it. Hi, bye. So, looking at this list of coaches, here, let me clean some of this up. But yes, if you ask me, Bradley Bozeman, Deontay Foreman are a must to bring back. Yes, they're a must to bring back. So, okay. Coaches that have been interviewed so far: Sean Payton, Mike Kafka, Ken Dorsey, Ejiro Evero, Shane Steichen, Frank Reich, Steve Wilkes, Jim Caldwell. I would have liked Tom Brady to play quarterback when I was a kid in our pickup games. Over Peyton Manning? Over Brett Favre? What? Well, I guess to each their own. Shane is the best out of all of them on the Eagles. I would like Shane and Kellen Moore, maybe. Now, I did hear, I believe Kellen Moore is next. Kellen Moore is next. I believe tomorrow. I believe he's next to be interviewed. But looking at this list, like I said, Sean Payton was the most recent. Mike Kafka, he's the offensive coordinator for the Giants. And I mean, even though they got obliterated in the playoffs by the Eagles, I mean, they did take out the Vikings. So, I mean, they did take out the Vikings. And they did beat us this year. That's for sure. Barely, but they beat us this year. But I mean, hey, Mike Kafka, got to start with the Eagles under Andy Reid. I mean, it seems like he's worked under some names. I mean, spent some time with the Chiefs. I mean, worked under Andy Reid with the Eagles and the Chiefs. So, I mean, Joe Valesco says Brett Favre is an interceptions machine. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. You know what else? You know what else he is? He's a 3-time MVP and has a Super Bowl. Three-time MVP and a Super Bowl. 11-time Pro Bowler. Brett Favre has thrown many picks one after the other. Over 100 picks for him. Sammy D almost had thrown a lot of picks. But let's see. Not better than Joe Montana, though. I mean, yeah, true. But I mean, you can only throw that interception number in Brett Favre's face for so much, being that, you know, a lot of the positives he has, plus he still has something we don't have yet. So, but I do agree. Definitely Joe Montana's better. I mean, shoot, not even Dan Marino has a championship. You know, I mean, if we want to go there, not even Dan Marino has a championship. I'm just saying. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, coaches. I know there's been a lot of praise about Ken Dorsey, who already has experience with Carolina, you know, especially being quarterbacks coach, was there for the Cam Newton era. I mean, these are names to consider if they do indeed want to go with an offensive-minded head coach. Now, the only thing we do know so far is Ben Johnson, he's out. He's staying with the Lions. Now, I do believe that Sean Payton is also going to be interviewing with the Broncos as well. So, something to keep an eye out. Now, this Ejiro Evero. Now, a name I'm not familiar with, but apparently he was the Broncos defensive coordinator last season. And apparently he was on the Rams Super Bowl team when he was the secondary coach and passing game coordinator. Huh. Okay. Interesting. And he was mentored by Dom Capers. I did not know this. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. Let's see. I mean, looking at this list, I think regardless, I will say this. I will say this. Regardless of what coach we do get, I do believe Ben McAdoo is gone. I do believe Ben McAdoo is gone. So I think regardless of who we do end up, Joel says you don't want Tom Brady because he make one dirty play. You do see how intentional that was, right? Number one. Number two, his history of shenanigans. And number three, I mean, first of all, are we really that desperate, Joe Valesco? Really? You want to get a 40, almost 50 plus year old quarterback? Really? Really? Are we that desperate? Draft a quarterback. How is getting him like, I mean, we might as well go for Aaron Rodgers, who would be younger. But like, are we really that desperate? Really? We need to evolve a new quarterback. Plain and simple as that. Don't need no freaking Tom Brady. Like as much as the fan base has been so much against him, now there's folks that would actually want him. That's hysterical. That's hysterical. Tom Brady can retire and kick rocks. Enjoy retirement. He might be the GOAT, but he's a dirty GOAT. And I don't even consider him the GOAT personally, but that's just me. But no, I don't want Tom Brady. And if we end up getting him, I'm not watching a game. Say what you want, but I meant what I said. I don't care if he has 30 championships. I don't care. But anyway, like I said, I think regardless of what coach we do get, Ben McAdoo is going bye-bye. I do hope that what was I going to say? I do hope that Matt Corral does eventually get a shot. I think he should definitely get a shot. And hopefully, who knows? Maybe in the regular season. I mean, depending on how he does. But I expect that we'll know who our coach is before the end of this week. And if not that, definitely before the end of this month, which I mean, middle of next week, it'll be February. So I really believe this will be the week. I don't know how many coaches they have left to interview, but I really feel like we'll know. We'll know by the end of this week. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Now, looking at the draft, so one thing. So just to reiterate, with the draft, we have picks number 9, 40, 62, 94, 114, 132, 146. As far as this first round, the only team that I could maybe see them trying to trade up possibly with is the Lions at that number 6 spot, being that the Lions have the number 6 pick and the number 18 pick. Or we could try to trade up and get the Seahawks pick at number 5 that they got from the Broncos, because technically the Seahawks have the number 5 pick and the number 20 pick in the first round. Now, looking at this, there are a few teams that have 2 picks in the first round. You got the Texans, you got the Seahawks, you got the Lions. Yeah, Texans, Seahawks, Lions. So, I mean, my only guess is perhaps if they want to try to consider trading up, one of those 3 teams. But I definitely do not see the Texans biting. I think they're going to keep that second pick in the first round. The Seahawks, they might bite, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I could see the Lions possibly biting. But those are the only teams that I could think of that I said trade up for the number 3 pick, but that's the thing, Joe Valesco. The number 3 pick is the Cardinals, and they only have 1 pick in the first round. But you're saying giving up so much for that pick. I don't think it's going to take giving up that much for that. That's why I'm saying if we're gonna trade up, you got 3 teams that have 2 picks in the first round. The Cardinals is not one of them. So to reiterate, the Texans have the number 2 pick and the number 12 pick. Number 2 and number 12. Okay. The Seahawks have the number 5 and the number 20. And then the Lions have the number 6 and the number 18. So that's why I'm saying one of those. But I highly doubt that the Cardinals will bite. Especially considering they're going to need to bolster their D line anyway. Not to mention, if I remember correctly, JJ Watt is retiring. So I'm sure they're going to want to take advantage of that D line, of bolstering that D line. If we trade up for the Seahawks, we get the number 5 pick. They get the number 9 pick. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that. Interesting thing is they actually have the Raiders on the Tankathon. They actually have the Raiders mock draft going Will Levis at number 7, which it's got to make sense being that they're exploring trades to get rid of Derek Carr. And before anybody asks, no, I do not want Derek Carr. No, I do not want Derek Carr. No way. Already dealt with enough of David Carr. Do not want Derek Carr. Can't do it. Won't do it. Hope they don't do it. That's all I can say. But I do believe, I mean, looking at this, at some point, some sort of trade is probably going to happen. Because when you think about it, we only have 7 total picks for this upcoming draft. Only have 7. But they're all picks under or in the top 150. So actually, that's not too bad. I mean, 1 in the first round, 2 in the second round, 1 in the third round, 2 in the fourth round, and a 5th round. I mean, shoot. What? Shoot. Could probably also move up in the second round as well. Could probably move up in the second round. And now that I think about it, let me take a look at something. I think they already have the first mock draft. Here it is. So, first mock draft on Panthers.com that they have. So, mock draft 1.0. Jordan Reed says Anthony Richardson. Here's what he had to say about Anthony Richardson. Says, and I quote, "Most scouts around the league agree that Richardson will be one of the toughest evaluations in this cycle. I could see him going in this range as the 3rd or 4th quarterback off the board, but it also wouldn't be surprising to see him fall to day 2. He only has 13 starts with middling production, 24 24-15 touchdown to interception ratio on his resume, but the physical traits are eye-popping. His ceiling is really, really high. A lot of questions loom in Carolina this offseason. And one of the biggest is the future outlook under center. Richardson will need patience, proper development, and a franchise that avoids constant staff turnover. If the Panthers can maximize him, they can stabilize their quarterback position. Only Houston has a worse QBR over the past 3 years than Carolina, which is 32.9, which is pretty bad. Okay. Josh Edwards also says quarterback Anthony Richardson with that 9th pick. Josh Edwards says, and I quote, Carolina comes across as desperate to land a viable long-term quarterback option. Long-term quarterback option. Let me say that one more time. Long-term quarterback option. Richardson has a very high ceiling, but there are going to be some growing pains on the elevator ride up. Okay. Michael Renner also says quarterback. We got some. Hey, Ekam Hannon, welcome to the stream. What if we can keep Steve and get Sean Payton? Are you saying like Steve Wilkes goes back to defensive coordinator and we get Sean Payton? Honestly, I really don't want Sean Payton. We'd have to give up too much for him. We already had to agree to the compensation in order to even interview him in the first place. I don't want Sean Payton. We have to sacrifice too much for one piece. Because remember, he's just one piece. He's just one piece. Joe Valesco says, I don't agree with that using the number 9 pick for Anthony Richardson. I mean, it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback. That's the only thing I can say. Let's see. Joe Valesco says it's just a first round pick. No, it's not just a first round pick. That's only one of the things we'd be giving up. No, it's not just a first round pick. There is more to it than just giving up the first round pick. It's not just one first round pick. Where was I? Oh, Michael Renner says Anthony Richardson. He says, and I quote, beggars can't be choosers with 3 quarterbacks off the board already. The Panthers are certainly going to be the beneficiaries of a deep quarterback class. Richardson offers the kind of tools that can go number 1 overall, but he will likely fall to this point because he lacks the polish and experience you see from most first rounders. He earned an 80.1 overall grade in his first season as a starter. The athletic staff says CJ Stroud. So the athletic staff says, and I quote, the Panthers have stayed in the playoff hunt thanks to the dreadful state of the NFC South and despite the lack of a franchise quarterback. Sam Darnold is the 3rd quarterback to start for Carolina this year, following Baker Mayfield and P.J. Walker. So they say C.J. Stroud. And then Jamie Eisner also says CJ Stroud via attempting pretty much trading, going after the Chicago first round pick. Jamie says, and I quote, David Tepper and the Panthers seem like they're going to be aggressive this offseason. I bet he does whatever it takes to land one of the top young quarterbacks. In this NFL mock draft, they make a trade back with the Bears, who need to add as many picks and talented players as possible. Carolina has a playoff-ready defense. Playoff-ready defense, I beg to differ. And some offensive cornerstones in DJ Moore and Ikai Ekwonu. CJ Stroud lost some of his pre-draft hype before gaining it back in the Peach Bowl. Even before that, his build and upside still warrant him being a first-round selection. The Bears get to move down again, pick up another top 40 pick, and will still have some quality edge rushers to choose from. That's an interesting analysis. I agree with some of it. I definitely don't agree with playoff-ready defense. I don't agree with that. We do not have a playoff-ready defense. It's not there yet. It's not there yet. I'm not saying it's super far from it, but it's not there yet. Let's actually take a look at the Chicago Bears, because I'm curious to see what their draft lineup looks like. Let me actually see what their draft lineup is. Hold up. Here we go. So the Chicago Bears have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. The Bears have the first round, or the number 1 pick, the 54 pick, 65, 103, 134, 136, 149, and the 220th. So they have 1 first-round pick, 1 second-round pick, 1 third-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, 2 fifth-round picks, and a 7th-round pick. Interesting. It'll be curious to see if part of me feels kind of surprised, would be pretty shocked if the Bears would be willing to move down. But I mean, I do agree that Carolina is probably going to be aggressive for a new quarterback, for sure. But it's going to come down to how they plan it out, how they're going to trade, and what they're going to give up. My thing is, I don't know how a lot of the Keep Pounding Nation feels about giving Matt Corral a chance, or even the idea of bringing back Sam Darnold, which honestly, because I mean, a lot of folks are saying, still skip out on drafting the quarterback and go all in on Matt Corral, which that's a 50-50 there. Because while going all in on Matt Corral, but he never had a fair chance. He never had a fair chance. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Ernest Capu says Carolina Panthers next year 14-3, 2024. Okay, what made you come to that conclusion? 14-3 already? What made you come to that conclusion? But I mean, I feel like whoever we do end up getting, whether it's Richardson or Levis or Stroud or Young, we're going to have to evolve somebody and develop somebody. Matt Corral, we're going to have to develop somebody. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We're going to have to develop somebody. So looking at the off-season guide for the Carolina Panthers here, let me scroll down. So, estimated cap space for 2023, $1 million. 7 draft picks, first round, number 9. Hey, Vietnam, welcome to the stream. What's good? What's up? But yeah, they made some really good points on the off-season priorities. Get a coach. And like I said, with the re-signings, I think Deontay Foreman, Bradley Bozeman should be a must. Draft a quarterback. Kind of have an idea of how they want to go about this draft. We only have 7 picks right now, which was let me go back to it. It was 2 in the second round, 2 in the fourth round. And then figuring out if they're gonna extend Brian Burns. They gotta figure out extending Brian Burns. What type of extension they can give him may be in the discussion as well. Because I mean, finished first time in his career, double-digit sacks, second straight Pro Bowl. So he's probably going to want a little something. Vietnam says, I would trade Shaq if possible. That would save a lot of money. I think he is the highest paid Panther. Yeah, I think that would save some money. I don't know quite how much. But I think you're right. I think that would save some money. And, it wouldn't surprise me if they did. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, to be honest with you. I know that's something that's been kind of talked about quite a bit. So honestly, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it. Joe Valesco still talking about Tom Brady. He's not even a long-term option. Like, what? We tried Bridgewater. That didn't work. We tried to bring back Cam. That didn't work. We tried Sam Darnold. That didn't work. Tried Baker Mayfield. That didn't work. And now you want to go Tom Brady? Joe Valesco? Dude, come on now. Come on now. It's time to pull a Cam Newton and develop a new quarterback. We haven't done it since 2011. It's time to develop a new quarterback. I don't want a dirty old goat. Vietnam says, I definitely don't want Sean Payton, though. The cost is too high. Same. I agree. Nothing against Sean Payton as a coach. He's got the record of a good coach, but costs too much. Too much to sacrifice for one piece. It would pretty much be Deshaun Watson all over again. And we already dodged a bullet. And not to mention, let me also point something out. Two things. All right, you know what? I'm going to mention this. Joe Valesco, with you being okay with Tom Brady being a Carolina Panther, is it safe to say that you're desperate? Is it safe to say that you're desperate? Answer me that. Answer me that. And number two, let's also keep in mind, David Tepper said he is willing to give Sean Payton anything he wants, just about anything he wants to be the new head coach. Now, we do remember how deep he was willing to go in for a Deshaun Watson. I do not trust our owner. I don't. Do we really think he's learned his lesson with Matt Rule? I don't know about that, y'all. I don't know about that. This man's willing to give him about anything that he wants. I understand we need a new coach, but dang, man, I tell you, I don't know who is more annoying, David Tepper or Mark Cuban. I don't even know who's more annoying. Goodness gracious. But like I said, main thing is, I do believe by the end of this week we'll know who our coach is. Like I said, they're going to be doing an interview with Kellen Moore from the Cowboys. I believe tomorrow or Wednesday or one of the two. But I have a feeling we're going to get our coach either by the end of this week or by the end of the month, which is technically middle of next week. Vietnam says, if he gives up those picks for Sean, then he has got to be okay with losing the next 2 years. Well, it definitely wouldn't be. I think the fan base is kind of half and half on that Vietnam, but I think it's definitely way too much of a risk, if you ask me. And like I said, with the draft picks, I think if we do move up, I think we should consider moving up and trading with either the Texans, the Seahawks, or the Lions, being that those three teams have two picks in the first round. Well, Joe Valeska, I appreciate your honesty. You know what, bro? I appreciate your honesty. Says I'm 14 years old and I am desperate. You know what? That's commendable. I feel you. I mad props for your honesty. I give you that. Hey, at least he's honest. At least he's honest. Vietnam says, yes, it is. Yeah. Hey, Blitz, how do you feel about Stetson Bennett from University of Georgia? Ooh, the champion. El Campeonate. I don't even know if I said that right. I mean, did he declare for the draft? Well, he is a senior. I mean, did he declare for the draft? He's a little shorter. 5'11", 190 pounds, but shoot. Hey, two-time national champion. He's 25. Yeah, 25. Still young. He's right. He's right at the line. 25 years old. He's right at the line. He'll be there in the second, which allows us to draft best player available at the first. He's a 6-year starter. Wow. So you don't think he's good enough to go in the first round? I guess that's interesting because the dude is a back-to-back champion. Well, I definitely wouldn't be against it, but the experts don't. Let's take a look at what he's done. Because you know what? Vietnam brings up a good point. 4,127 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a QBR of 87.8. Not to mention he's gotten better each year since freshman year. Like I said, Vietnam, the only thing that I can say is, he's a little bit shorter than I would like, but that's really the only negative that I can say about him. He's a little shorter than I would ideally like, but that's pretty much all I can say. But when the combine hits, things will change. Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to the combine. What do you think about the David Tepper wife situation? Was definitely rocky, but they did clear that up because she did pass the prerequisites, so they did clean that up. So, I don't think it was too big of a biggie, but they got that cleared up. So, yeah. I thought it was going to be a biggie at first, but they apparently got it cleared up, and she passed the qualifications. So, I'm cool with it. Sounds like a good pickup to sit behind Sam and learn. If we can get CJ Stroud, then I'm all for it. I would mash the gas for Stroud. So according to the mock draft, they actually currently, with Tankathon, they currently have CJ Stroud going to the Colts with that number 4 pick. When I pulled up what some of the analysts had for the Panthers.com first mock draft, they had 4. Or wait, no, I was right. 3. So they had 3 going in on Anthony Richardson and 2 going in on CJ Stroud, trading up as high as trying to trade up with Chicago for that number 1 pick. J. Cole, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I mean, I don't know if they'd be willing to trade down from that number 1 pick. I would be pretty surprised if they did. But I think if we do trade up either to the 2, the 5, or the 6, I think we should be able to get our guy. If they want to consider trading up, I think 2, 5, or 6, I think we can get our guy. Mainly because the Texans, the Lions, and the Seahawks have 2 picks in the first round. And especially with the Texans having the number 2 pick and the number 12 pick, I mean, shoot, them going from 2 to 9, well, that might be a little tougher. But being able to go from, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, I think is probably more doable. And I think 5 or 6, we could probably still get somebody. But if they can pull off trading up to the number 1 pick, then I will be very impressed. But it's also going to depend on what we give up. But, I mean, hey. But I do believe that as of now, looking at the order, Bears, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Lions, Raiders, Falcons, Panthers. RIP to Anton Walk, the young soccer player. Yes. Yeah, I did hear about that. Thank you for mentioning that, J. Cole. Indeed. So out of those teams, Texans going quarterback, I could definitely see happening. The Colts going quarterback, I think is very possible, especially considering, Matt Ryan's getting up there in age. Don't know how much longer he'll last. He's definitely not a long-term solution. I'm still thinking the Seahawks could possibly go quarterback. But, I mean, I don't know. Geno Smith had a great season. So, I mean, they may ride him for another year, or they may get their long-term option at that number 5 pick. And then the Lions at number 6, I definitely don't see them going quarterback. Personally, I don't think they'll go quarterback. Now, the Raiders, I mean, with them shopping Derek Carr, Raiders could make a play for a quarterback. The Raiders could. Mr. Gemini, welcome to the stream. let's see. What's up, Blitz? And a lot of mock drafts has us taking Anthony Richardson now. That is true. There's a handful going Anthony Richardson, but there are a few that pick CJ Stroud that will trade up and get CJ Stroud. So there's a few. There's a few. And then, of course, Tankathon still has us going Quentin Johnston, wide receiver out of TCU, but that's a whole nother thing. Have you seen the new trailer for 80 for Brady? No. Bump Tom Brady. Let's see. But if Mr. Tepper, Scott Fitter, and company are going to be aggressive for a quarterback, I think they'll trade up. I think they will put whatever type of package they can and will trade up. I just hope it's a reasonable one. I hope it's a reasonable one. Hey, what's up, Jesse Midnight Crawler? Take Dak, please. Nah. Dak is good, but he falls apart in the playoffs. No. He is Tony Romo 2.0. No. I like Dak, but he's not a playoff quarterback. He'll get you there, but he's not a playoff quarterback. You know, it's just kind of like James Harden. He might be the James Harden of NFL, but I pretty much consider him Tony Romo 2.0. And one could wonder, is Josh Allen a playoff quarterback? I mean, Josh Allen has had some playoff experience now, but has not been able to reach the big dance. So many are wondering now, is Josh Allen a playoff quarterback? So good comparison. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You saw Patrick Mahomes' injury. Yes, he has a high right ankle sprain, but apparently the word is he will practice Wednesday. He'll practice Wednesday, and it's still up in the air whether he'll play, but the word is, well, actually, scratch that. It said it's not yet to be determined whether he will practice Wednesday, but we'll have to keep an eye out. Okay, take Zeke. Why take Zeke when we can bring back Deonta Foreman? I don't want no Cowboy players. Shoot. Bump the Cowboys. But yeah, shoot. Deonta Foreman's better anyway. Did you hear about Tepper not following the NFL rules about training for the interviews? Yeah, but recent update was that got addressed. The whole thing with his wife and all that got addressed, and apparently she completed the prerequisites or whatnot, or has the qualifications according to what's requested. Word is they had gotten that cleared up. That's what I've heard, that they got that cleared up. Now, if they hadn't, then that's a big issue. But word is they did get that cleared up. So, because if not, then they are in. They're screwed. That's all I can say. But it is definitely Foreman is good, but what about Johnson? I mean, my thing is, if we would have an opportunity to bring back Deontay Foreman, I'd say take it. You know, we can't. Don't fix what ain't broken. Don't fix what ain't broken. And he played great for us. So don't fix what ain't broken. We will take Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons would be nice. Yeah, Micah Parsons would be nice. Shoot. I definitely would not be against getting Micah Parsons. Yeah, why not? But man, I can't believe it, y'all. There is a chance that Christian McCaffrey may end up playing in this year's Super Bowl. Let me ask y'all something. Serious question. If the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, did we lose on the McCaffrey trade? What do y'all think about that? If the 49ers win the Super Bowl, then did we really lose on that McCaffrey trade? Jesse says he's got Burrow. Burrow might be right back in the Super Bowl the way they've been playing. Him dropping dimes to Jamar Chase. That defense playing well. Depends on how he plays in the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, he's been doing pretty dang on good with the Niners since going there. So, I mean, he hit 1,000 yards rushing. He completed his 1,000 yards rushing after getting to San Fran. Let me just tell you that. I mean, not only that, right now, got 8 touchdowns. Or shoot, hold up. Yeah, 8 touchdowns on the ground, 4 receiving. Or wait a minute. I forgot. He's got 2 passing touchdowns. That's where the 8 is. So 6 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and 4 receiving touchdowns. Woo. That's crazy. Tough question. I don't know. San Francisco wins the trade. Carolina Panthers did not. Okay. J. Cole believes San Francisco would win the trade. I mean, I think a big thing with him going to San Francisco is he doesn't have to do everything on the offense. With the offense that they have, he doesn't have to do everything. He doesn't have to do everything on that offense. When he was with Carolina, he had to do everything. I mean, shoot. Because they got multiple weapons on offense, you know. Chuzak, Debo Samuel, George Kittle. They still got a lot of weapons on offense. Hurts beats Purdy. It should be good, but don't sleep on that Niners defense. Can't sleep on the Niners defense. I don't think it'll be a 38-7 mollywhopping like they gave the Giants, but don't sleep on that Niners defense, Jesse. I think it's going to be closer. Hurts is better than Dak right now. Yeah, and, you got to give it up to Jalen Hurts winning a playoff game. Got to give it up to Jalen Hurts winning a playoff game, who I believe is in the MVP discussion as well. We weren't going anywhere with CMC. Well, we can't say that we've never had any success with CMC, especially, we had the one playoff appearance. But I think it just really came down to how he was used and abused. I think that was ultimately the end story for McCaffrey in Carolina. He was used and abused. Great player, phenomenal running back that was used and abused in that offense. So I really felt like trading him was inevitable, unfortunately. Trading CMC will free up cap this year, so we won that. I love CMC, but he was just killing our cap. Him and Shaq. Shaq isn't worth all of that. Shaq, definitely understandable, but I mean, we got to keep it real. CMC was playing his butt off, mainly because he had to, because he was given the touches. But I mean, there is fair argument as to whether he earned that money or not. But I mean, you have to admit, they paid him all that money and they used the mess out of him. I mean, can we at least admit that? They paid him, therefore they used him up. They used him up. Our little boy is all grown up looking at him making an NFC championship. I mean, yeah. If he can get through that, could make the big dance. But I definitely think it helps in our helps in the draft. And not only that, we have to also keep in mind that we still had a good running game even after letting go of CMC. So at least the running game didn't suffer. The running game didn't suffer. Because if it did, then Deontay Foreman would have never almost gotten 1,000 yards rushing. So, I mean, at least there was that. At least there was that. Better future head coach, Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn? I mean, Dan Quinn was the coach when the Falcons had the really bad, worst choke job in the NFL. So, maybe I would take a chance on Kellen Moore, but I don't know. After the Dan Quinn choke job in the Super Bowl, nah. But then again, maybe the Chargers choke job was worse. Maybe the Chargers choke job against the Jaguars. Maybe that was because that wasn't the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is still worse. Super Bowl is still worse. The Chargers Jaguars one was a pretty bad one, but yeah. I feel like the price is too high for Peyton. We would have to give up that ninth pick if we do. Oh, not just the ninth pick. We would have to give up more than just the ninth pick. I can tell you that right now. We would have to give up more than just the ninth pick. Joe Velasco says, do you think if CMC was playing in the 2015 season, we will win the Super Bowl 50? I mean, honestly, that really... I mean, we could have done without him. The main thing that we failed is, number one, Mike Remmers. I mean, the O-line broke down, and we didn't do a good job of defending against Von Miller, who got 2 strip sacks. So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey probably would have done something, but, I mean, one could argue and say, Jonathan Stewart, who got a touchdown, and it's like I said before, y'all have to remember, that game we came into with the number one offense between both of those teams. We came in with the number one offense. And not to mention, our defense got takeaways in that game. So we had just as much of a chance with that roster as Denver did. So I really don't think it would matter if we had CMC at that time or not. Because we had a good enough roster to get the job done in the first place. 15-1. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, I give it up for CMC. Had an 1,000 season. I've never seen that before my very eyes, even growing up. Especially considering the Panthers are my team. But that's great and all, but what did it end up? A 5-win season. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. J. Cole says, it's like CMC is the Panthers' dog and the owner abused him. Send him to an owner like the Niners that cares for him. Well, it's like I said, him going to the Niners, he's on an offense where he doesn't have to do everything because they got multiple weapons on that offense and they actually use those other weapons consistently. Christian McCaffrey is literally adding on to what they have. So it's a big difference. He's adding on to what they have. Jesse says, who's your quarterback next year in the draft? To be honest, I really don't have a preference. I'm just ready for a new quarterback to develop and evolve. But I can't say that I really have a preference. I mean, I'm not that big and invested in college sports. It's just keeping up with them plus keeping up with the NFL is freaking difficult for me. And that's just me. I think it's impressive that y'all can, but I can't. Because, number one, there's way too many freaking college teams to keep up with. And two, that plus the NFL, I don't know how the heck y'all do it. I can't do it. Mr. Gemini says, I feel like the Bills could have used CMC. Probably. But then again, the Bills have been consistently getting to the playoffs, for these last couple of seasons. So, I mean, but I definitely I'm hopeful for a good off season and just to build on what we have. Like I said, bring back Deontay Foreman, bring back Bradley Bozeman. As far as Eddie Pinheiro, Zane Gonzalez, take your pick. Zane Gonzalez has one more year, and Eddie Pinheiro finished strong after the Atlanta meltdown. He didn't miss another kick since the Atlanta meltdown. So I say take your pick. J. Cole says, it is a headache for me too. Yeah, I feel you. Joe Valesco says, I don't really pay attention to college, but I like two teams, the Oregon Ducks and the LSU Tigers. Oh, yeah? Those are some pretty strong, prestigious schools. I know my older brother, he is a UNC fan. He's a UNC Chapel Hill fan. My dad went to North Carolina Central University. I have two coworkers that are Duke fans. I'm in Austin, so Deontay Foreman brings back good memories. University. Oh, Texas Longhorns. Okay. That's what's up. Right on. Good stuff. But yeah, I have been to I've been to a few college football games though. I've been to a few NCCU games. I've been to two Duke games. I've been to an NC State game. I've been to two Northwestern games. So, yeah. Mr. Gemini says, yeah, I don't know anyone in this draft really except for like 5 players. Yeah, same. So, my whole thing is we haven't drafted a quarterback first round and evolved a quarterback since Cam Newton. And that was 2011. So I think it's time. I just really think it's time that we start evolving and developing a quarterback. Yes, Joe Valesco, my dad is a Raiders fan. Yes, always has been a Raiders fan. Yes. He's a Raiders fan. My brother's an Eagles fan. And my nephew is a Vikings fan, but mainly because he loves Justin Jefferson. That's his favorite player. But yeah. My dad's been a Raiders fan very long time. But Raiders, they're looking to be in line to get a new quarterback as well, since they're trying to shop Derek Carr. So, hey, I have to see how that turns out. But I have to say, Bo Jackson. Oh, yeah, Bo Jackson, a legend. J. Cole says, I say your first old YouTube video, and let me tell you, it is very old. Oh, yeah. 2007? 2007? So, wow. Can't believe I've been on YouTube that long. Goodness gracious. And I remember recording that video from a cheap little, I don't even think it was a smartphone. I think I had to put in a SIM or no, I had to put in an SD card, record it, take the SD card out, and then put it in a SD card reader. And that's how I was able to get the video on my computer. It was crazy. I had an old phone, old Android phone. So yeah, it was crazy. Good times, good times. But yeah, and come a long way. Come a long way. It's crazy. Then had my first webcam, and that was freaking old. Uh oh yeah, Joe Valesco, my brother, he's been an Eagles fan like long time ago, since like Randall Cunningham. Um Ray Buchanan, I believe, is his favorite player on defense. But yeah, he's even in the Tecmo Bowl days, he'd always play with the Eagles and was a big Randall Cunningham fan, and like Todd Pinkston and James Thrash and Deuce Staley and all those guys. Um, uh, Keith Byers, all those guys. Um, you have an old TV in the back. Oh yeah, that was, oh man. I think that was a, what was that, a 24-inch TV? The 24-inch Dynex? Yeah, I think that's what that TV was. If you're looking at the old videos, yeah, that's what that was. Who do you think has the best chance of getting the head coaching position? Good question. Good question. I mean, one would think that because, Steve Wilkes is here, that he probably has the advantage. He probably has the advantage. But like I said, if we have the opportunity to upgrade, we should definitely upgrade. And I feel like some of these other folks would be an upgrade, because even though Steve Wilkes did some good things, I still don't believe he knows how to make adjustments. I don't believe he knows how to make adjustments. Tecmo Bowl, yes. I still wish I had the old Tecmo Bowl. That game was great. Jesse says, get Sean Payton. I really would rather not have Sean Payton. It would cost too much to get him. It would cost way too much to get him. So I'm so sorry, y'all. I got something in my eye. I'm just trying to pick this out. It's killing me. Okay. But yeah, it would cost too much to get him. Qualified, yes, record-wise, but too much. Personally, and a lot of folks were even thinking of also trying to get Vic Fangio to take over and be a defensive coordinator. Which I don't know if that's a possibility, but yeah, I mean, I think you have some well-suited coaches here. I mean, I think Ken Dorsey could be a hit or miss. I mean, he's got experience already with the coaching staff in Carolina, and he was there for, helping to develop Cam Newton. Shane Steichen is a hot name. Frank Reich, potentially a hot name. Jim Caldwell, a hot name, but my only thing with him is his age. That's really my only thing with Jim Caldwell. It's just his age. That's it. Vic Fangio. Fangio would be good, especially on the defense. Vietnam says Dante can get it done, but if he's asking for top dollar, I wouldn't give it to him. We need a home run threat at running back and a rookie deal. Well, I mean, you have to also remember Deontay Foreman, he's still young. I think he's like what? 26? Okay, let me see how old he is. Yeah. Deontay Foreman's only 26. I mean, honestly, I feel like out of the free agents, Vietnam, the only two that I would consider is him and Bradley Bozeman. That's it. The others can really be replaced. Not to mention, we haven't had a power back since Stewart and what's his face? Tolbert. You know? Like that's another thing I think as an organization that we got to start getting back to doing. We got to start rewarding for good production. We did that with Frankie Louvu. Why can't we do it with Deontay Foreman? And especially Bradley Bozeman. All right, Mr. Gemini, see you next time. Thanks for coming through. Now, the only thing I could see is maybe, a two, possibly 3 year, but maybe two or three. And then, like I said, Chuba Hubbard definitely, I feel like, deserves to stay as well. Well, he's still on his rookie contract, but, he's cleaned up some of his issues, especially with the fumbleitis. Definitely seems to have cleared that up. It makes me sick. I guess you mean sick to cripple our new head coach by giving away his resources to make the team better. Yeah, it's a good point. What do you think about Kareem Hunt? Kareem Hunt, not bad. But I mean, he really didn't do too much this season. 468 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was mainly a Nick Chubb show. We got better production out of Deontay Foreman, Joe Velasco. And to be honest, like the last time, to be realistic, okay, the second year Kareem Hunt came to the Cleveland Browns, did good. But he's mainly known for his production with Kansas City, and that was, his first 2 years. So that's the only thing with that. Kareem Hunt is washed up. Without Reed's offense, he has been nowhere near the playmaker that he was. Now, I won't say that. He split carries with Nick Chubb. Though. No, I can't say that he's washed up. Because he split carries with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was the starter. He was the starter. Not to mention, Kareem did play all 17 games, but he wasn't the starter. No, I don't think he's washed up. 1 year older, yeah, 1 year older, but no, I can't say that he's washed up, especially when he wasn't the starter. for all 17 games. He wasn't even the starter. Lamar Jackson, new team. Lamar Jackson, I mean, former MVP. On paper would sound nice on paper, but I really think we need to start fresh. I mean, I think we've done enough of the QB projects from other teams. We need to start fresh. Don't forget about D'Angelo Williams playing alongside with Jonathan Stewart. Yes, smash and dash. One of the best running back duels we had in franchise history, for sure. But nah, like I wouldn't go for a Kareem Hunt when we can just bring back D'Onta Foreman, who had great production. But like, you know, Lamar would be a nasty toy, would be a very nasty toy on the field, you know, just dominating. But I think we should definitely start fresh. But yeah, one thing's for sure, regardless of who we do get, I do believe it'll be good competition between whatever quarterback we get and Matt Corral, because I do believe Matt Corral deserves a shot to compete, to play, and start in the regular season. Now, the time with scouting with the combine and the Senior Bowl is going to be key, but Matt Corral didn't really have a fair chance. And like I said, it's still up in the air whether they'll keep Sam Darnold, whether they'll bring him back maybe on another year or two and maybe be a backup, or PJ Walker, or you know, I don't know. Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young is definitely expected to go in the first round. So, you know, although Bryce Young is the smaller of the quarterbacks, if I remember correctly. Or no, well, 6 feet. 6 feet, 194. CJ 6'3", 218. So I mean, smaller, but not crazy smaller. But you know, smaller. And actually, CJ and Will are pretty similar in size. Just Will Levis weighs a little more. And then, although Anthony Richardson's a big dude. I mean, 6'4", 232. But here's the thing. Dude is a sophomore. So, I mean, J. Cole says, if you want Lamar Jackson, you have Anthony Richardson in the draft, who's got a similar style. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Joe Valesco says, it sucks. Jim Harbaugh is going back to college. Yeah, but it might be the right decision. Said go defense. You say go defense first round? That's not out of the question. That's not out of the question, but I really feel like I got a feeling we're going to end up going quarterback. I know there's a good handful of fans that would be willing to do defense first. Again, which we didn't do that last time. We went O-line first, but, the time before that, we even went all defense, one of the Matt Rule seasons. But I'm really curious to see who they have eyes on. And like I said, tomorrow or Tuesday, they're going to be interviewing Kellen Moore. And I don't know if they have any other names on their list after Kellen Moore. I don't think they do. I'll have to look into it, but I don't think they do. Which would mean they have so they've interviewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coaches, with Kellen Moore being the 9th coach. So, did we interview Steve Wilkes? Yeah. They've interviewed Steve Wilkes already. Yeah. With the Panthers.com coaching interview tracker, that lists everybody that's been interviewed already. So Sean Payton, Mike Kafka, Ken Dorsey, Ejiro Evero, Shane Steichen, Frank Reich, Steve Wilkes, and Jim Caldwell all have been interviewed. The next one to get interviewed on the list is Kellen Moore, which will be Tuesday. So that's everybody that's been interviewed so far. I don't know if they have anybody else on their radar. And not to mention, let's also keep in mind the Texans still need a coach. The Cardinals still need a coach. The Broncos need a coach. So there's still other areas that need coaches. So I have to see what happens and see what direction although, I know a lot of people want an offensive-minded head coach, which, isn't a bad idea. I think one of the main things we have to consider is if we do end up going with an offensive-minded head coach, then I am under the idea that an offensive-minded coach has a way of pretty much taking whatever talent on offense, using to the best of their abilities with the play calling, and being able to game plan with the resources at their disposal. as an offensive-minded head coach. Which, with that being the case, I would think if they decide to go that route, then maybe going defense in the first round might not be a bad idea to kind of bolster the talent there, because I don't know. And it's just a thought. It's just a thought. Because I'm under the impression if you have a great offensive-minded coach where offense is their specialty, they, I would think, are supposed to be able to dial up stuff with the offense and make it work. Now, we know that Steve Wilks is not an offensive-minded coach. He is defense. And if anything, I will say this. If Steve Wilks doesn't get hired as head coach, then I 100% would vouch for Steve Wilks still staying with the coaching staff and being our D coordinator. Because I do trust Steve Wilks when it comes to defense. I would be more so for him on defense. If we pick Anthony Richardson, the 9th pick, we can trade down to get Anthony Richardson. Well, here's the thing, Joe Valesco. That's still risky because, like I said, looking at the mock draft, you got a little more teams looking for a quarterback. I mean, Texans, Colts, possibly Seahawks, Raiders, even the Jets. The Jets aren't looking too kindly with Zach Wilson, so they could go in another direction. Not to mention, even in the tankathon, they have Anthony Richardson going to Washington. Main thing I'm saying is there's no guarantee that Anthony Richardson will be there in the second round when you have multiple teams that are in need of a quarterback. And there's a handful. There's a handful. Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush did pretty decent. He did pretty decent. J. Cole says, do you see the Atlanta Falcons getting a quarterback? Nah. I don't think they're going to give up on Desmond Ridder already. Nah, I don't think they'll get a quarterback. If anything, they'll probably get a weapon on defense because they've spent a good chunk of time the past few seasons on offense. I think they're going to go somebody on defense, personally. I mean, they ended up getting Kyle Pitts. They ended up getting Drake London. So I think they're going to go defense. I'm going crazy like my auntie Sonia. Welcome to the stream. The greatest coach that hasn't started coaching yet, Peyton Manning. You know what? It's probably going to happen at some point. I mean, shoot. Either I could see Peyton Manning either. Now, starting off, he could probably be a quarterback's coach, or heck, he might even consider offensive coordinator, but he could probably evolve into a head coach. But I think starting out, I could see him as either a quarterback's coach or even an offensive coordinator. If anybody has a great offensive mind, especially as a quarterback, Peyton Manning, yeah, he would fit the bill. But I think he could be evolved into a head coach. I think he could, so. But yeah, overall, realistically, the only coach on this list so far that I would not be all in to bring in is Sean Payton. Also, Ejiro Evero, I probably wouldn't, only because I don't know him. I don't know him. But I'm kind of iffy on that one, mainly because I don't know him. But the others, I'm pretty open. The others, I'm actually pretty open. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens, though. We'll definitely see what happens. But, oh, man. Well, it is actually getting late on my end, almost 2 a.m. Once again, I also like to say that be sure to check out the link to Game Beauty in the description box. Game Beauty, great line of makeup and cosmetics with video game themes. If you're interested, check out the link. If you're interested in making a purchase, be sure to use the promo code BlitzBallChamp, all capital letters, and you get 10% off of your order. So be sure to use that if you see something you're interested in. Aside from that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And thank y'all so much for coming through, for watching, and for contributing to the conversation. It's been good. It's been really good, but I am about to pass out so I can go to work in the morning. Love y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of the above. And I will see y'all in the next live video. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming. Everybody have a blessed day. See y'all soon. Peace.